What's going
What's
on?
what's going on, people? We are back. Final show of the year. Hey, we here. Rodney, Jay, what's going on, man?
Nothing much. Just realizing I forgot to do one thing before we started the show, so I gotta
What?
make a small little edit later on. But yo, we are here. We are in the last week of the show for the year, so it's been a great one, especially for you. So
Yes, it has.
I'm
It's
gonna let
been.
you I'm gonna let you speak on your greatness in just
Oh
a
man, it's been a
second, but
great. It's been a great
But
year.
it's been a fun year, so thanks everybody that's joined in, whether you were here from the beginning or you came in later in the season. It's been awesome, but especially awesome for you. So tell the world what's going on.
First, I want to say this. Somebody asked me how do I play in so many leagues and play against myself every week?
Right,
And I
right.
was like, man, it's easy. I've been doing it for a long time. So I will say, this has probably been my greatest year in fantasy football. I have won 3 championships and I have finished in third place in 2 leagues, and I'm in a championship this week. So I possibly have 4 championships in one season. That will bring
Nice.
my total
Uh
to
huh.
11 championships this year. I got a couple second places and I got a couple thirds, but that they don't matter.
No,
But
nobody cares.
nobody care about that. But I would have 11 championships if if
If
I
you
get
win
this
this,
next one. I
but
told myself I don't have to win nothing next year. So yeah, 11 championships is good.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hard work. Y'all don't understand. Running 6 teams, help doing a podcast, and working and all this other stuff, and then getting 6 championships. I mean, 4 championships. Great
Oh,
feeling, man. I'm trying to tell you.
oh yeah, that'd be great. I mean, even if you only have 10 at the end of this year, that's still great. So,
Yeah.
good luck with that fourth one, getting that fourth one in. So you'll be there. My week did not go as well. I was in 3 championship games. One of them is still ongoing. It's one of those leagues that do like week 17 and 18. I'm not out of it, but I'm not doing well. So I don't have high hopes for that. The other two I just lost. One of them was in the sleeper league that I've told you all about. That it's a super flex league. It's a tournament with like a bazillion different teams. I made it to the playoffs. I made it to the championship game in my league, but went down in flames. And then the one I loved the most in the league I started, I told y'all I was playing my father last week, and he won. And it's your fault, my friend. It's your fault that I lost because of your love for George Kittle. And
Okay. All right.
I always tell everybody the best tight end in fantasy football is obviously Travis Kelsey. But I got a chance to have George Kittle on the team, and it worked for most of the season. I had the highest average at 200 and something points. The last 2 weeks, George Kittle killed me. And if I just played Dallas Goddard, who I had originally at the beginning of the year, I could have won, but I didn't. But hey, if I'm gonna lose to anybody, I'm glad I lost to my dad. So congratulations to him. I know he's watching, and congratulations. He's waiting for that trophy to arrive so he can put it up on his mantle. So
Oh
good,
yeah.
good job. And for everybody else that's out there in fantasy world, hopefully you had better seasons. It was overall a good year. Being in 8 leagues and getting to 3 championship games, but coming away empty-handed, it's one of those like, man, I'd rather have not been in at all than to lose everywhere because just that
Well, look.
close.
Well, look at it this
But
way. I got us covered.
thank
I
you.
got us covered.
Oh,
I'm good.
speaking of covered, our producer, she's in a championship game. She's playing in one league. However, best ball. I told you we both started playing best ball this year. She has officially won her best ball league, the same league I was in. I finished way away from first, but she finished in first place. So her first year playing fantasy last year, she won a championship, and then her first year playing best ball this year, she came in first place and won that championship. So apparently, all of my skills have transferred to my wife. So good, congratulations to her also.
Man, she might catch you, man. She
Oh,
might.
at the rate things are going.
She might catch you. Yeah, well, you only at 8, right?
I'm
So
only at 8, and
she
so
might catch you now. Come on now.
she could potentially have 3 by the end of this year. So I'm like,
Oh
well
my,
then.
yeah. No, she gonna catch you in a couple years, man. If you don't start winning again,
Yo,
man.
I,
Come
I
on
got I
now.
got to get back in my own ways. You realize that in this in the SMFL league that my father has won. Congratulations to him again. This is the third straight year I've been in the championship game, and the third straight year I've lost. I'm like,
Hey,
uh, next year I'm gonna be the Buffalo Bills. So I gotta get my life together.
well, look, you have to. It's okay, man.
Yeah.
Look, I haven't been there in a couple years, man. But
Yeah,
I,
you've been
it's
absent, but you've made up for it in other leagues.
it's okay with me, man. I'm good.
Yeah,
I make it up in other leagues.
yeah,
It's a lot more going on in those other ones, if
yeah, yeah,
you know
yeah,
my drift. So,
yeah.
but
A lot of
yeah,
things happening in those.
yeah, a lot of things happening over
A
there.
lot of
So
things I missed out on, but it's all
yeah,
good.
it's okay.
That
But
close, that close.
I'd rather have those than to have that.
Do
I
your
promise you.
thing. Welcome everybody that's been saying. I see comments coming in. Of course, hello. And my mother actually congratulated you, which is odd because she is not in your fan club.
Well, she also doesn't want me to get the big head when I come.
too,
Yeah, because she already
too
know
late
when
for
I
that.
walk through the door, it's gonna be huge. And
Yeah.
she didn't let her know that. Like I was that guy this year, man. I'm trying to tell
Hey,
you.
but you can be big headed this year. So
Thank you. I told you.
you've earned that right. Welcome Nita to the show as well. Been a blast having you. Picking on Rodney as well. Why don't we do postseason shows? Because we need a break. Playing in 8 leagues myself. You played in 6. Hey, I love doing the show. It's a whole bunch of fun, but I'm actually looking forward to this off season because I need to obviously retool what I'm doing because this is 2 years in a row. I'm gonna potentially be empty handed on championships. I feel so dirty and ashamed. So
Well, look,
yeah.
you'll get back. You
Oh,
know,
I'm not worried.
we do like we do. We're gonna be back. We're not completely
Yeah,
leaving. We're gonna sprinkle in every now and then.
there's
You
no
know,
sprinkle. Yeah,
and actually throw some stuff out there. But we got to take a break.
yeah, yeah,
We've been going hard. Y'all understand between all the leagues we play in and actually doing 2 shows a week, plus working and everything else that we
yeah.
got going on.
So
You got to take a break
taking
sometimes.
a small
So
break, but like you said, we'll pop in from time to time so you guys don't forget us. I see we got Justin. Welcome to the show. I hope you had a better championship week than I did. So let
yeah,
us know how things went for you. It's been great, Justin, having you with the show this
definitely,
year. You win the #1 fan award. Thanks for all your help. Thanks for pulling for subscribers and everything. Keeping us on our toes with questions and such.
definitely.
Yeah,
Just wanted to say definitely a special shout out to Justin.
yeah.
He's been like I know we have our family up here, but like when you talking about somebody that's really been faithful
Oh yeah,
to R and J, he's been that guy. Even like behind the scenes as far as like Twitter, asking questions and stuff like that.
yeah.
He's been there, so I appreciate you, Justin.
And all of
Hey,
this despite being a Lakers fan. So yeah,
exactly. But we have our differences, but at the end of the
yeah,
day, he definitely he come with hard questions, and hopefully we helped him out this year to get to a couple championships, man. You let us know, Justin, definitely.
yeah. Well, you ready to do what we do?
Let's go.
Let's start with some NFL news.
We're gonna start with some NFL news, and this one I caught wind up today.
Right.
Is Aaron Rodgers is calling out an MVP voter because he
Right.
called him a bad guy and he doesn't deserve the MVP. So Aaron Rodgers came back and called him a
A
bum.
bum.
And he doesn't know him. And he say he's
Right.
only not voting for him because of, I guess, the COVID situation where he's not vaccinated. And he said, obviously, he doesn't. Everybody knows what's going on, but he doesn't feel like he need to be vaccinated. So, me personally, I think Aaron Rodgers is petty. I think Aaron Rodgers is. I think he's a jerk, personally.
Putting it mildly.
Mildly, yes. I think he's a jerk. I think he feels entitled.
He is a dino, yeah.
Um, it's reminding me of a guy named Brett Favre. Uh, when he was on his way out of Green Bay, kind of
Yeah.
sorta, where he wanted to hold everybody hostage and try to do it his way. Honestly, I don't really care for him. Now I will say this: Aaron Rodgers did win me a championship this year, so I'm not gonna take nothing away from him. But I still think at the end of the day, I think he's a jerk, and I think he's holding people hostage in Green Bay.
You called him a jerk. He's coming for you. You're going to be the next bum on his
Hey,
list.
look,
But
he can come for me. I will send it to him personally. I'm not afraid of him. I don't care what he is.
yeah, it's just funny to me. You mentioned Brett Favre and the similarities between Brett Favre's career and Aaron Rodgers' career in Green Bay have just been ridiculously hilarious because
Yep.
they both had to deal with the team drafting their quote unquote replacement, not being happy about it, sort of ostracizing them, and kind of leaving Green Bay in diva esque fashion. And so it's just hilarious. But I also had Aaron Rodgers on what would have been my greatest fantasy football team, except for one loss at the end. So I'm feeling your pain, Justin. I see that you didn't quite get the chip, but you helped a friend get it, and so that's basically where I'm at now. I lost all my championship games, save one that I'm probably gonna lose this week coming up. We'll see, but I feel good in the fact that I was able to help some other people because hey, you gotta take what you get. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad he won something. So, but
yeah.
definitely, that's my take on it. Um, I'm gonna just leave it at that.
Well,
If he
let me
comes for
ask you
me,
this though:
uh,
his being a jerk aside, do you
hmm
think Aaron Rodgers deserves the MVP?
um,
And if not, who do you put in that place?
I would say yes. I mean, they got the best record in the NFC, so I would definitely say yes. I'm not opposed to him getting the MVP, but for me, this is the problem.
Right?
Aaron Rodgers is living off of a 12-year drought from winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And what people fail to realize is this. Excuse me. What they fail to realize is he's been to the NFC Championship game for the last 2 years, and he
Mm-hmm.
hasn't won. But nobody calls him out for losing these NFC Championship games. And I don't mean just losing. They got literally blown out in both of these games. So I mean, yes, he's great in the regular season, but when he gets to the postseason, he don't do much.
Right.
So, but call him out for not winning the Super Bowl since 2010. I need people to do that because he's still holding on to that one great Super Bowl, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Hey, Brett Favre also had that one Super Bowl, so
yeah,
it's like I said,
and
the similarities are great. But if you ask me honestly, and I'm gonna agree with Justin on this one, you don't vote on MVP based off the outside, off the field stuff.
yeah, of course you don't.
And so for me, the only two people I think really deserve MVP would be Aaron Rodgers. You can make a case for Tom Brady, but I don't
Yeah,
think it's as strong of a case as it would be for Aaron Rodgers. And then if I'm going to look away from quarterbacks,
Cooper
I'm going to
Cup.
look at like a Jonathan Taylor
I mean, but
potentially. It would have been Derrick Henry if he had played the whole year, but it's not.
so
So
what?
on that case, I don't see anyone other than Aaron Rodgers really
I
deserving
mean,
the
what about
MVP.
Cooper Cup? What if he breaks the
It ain't
receiving
going
record?
to a wide receiver. I mean,
Why not?
I would love it because Cooper Cup also a great contributor for my fantasy football, but I can't see them giving it to a wide receiver. Even though I think Cooper Cup that's another good one as well. Um, Justin says that last year was not. I think this is Aaron Rodgers' fault. No one's in the stands because of COVID. Nita says that there's a Chicago sports writer that said he'd not vote for the liar Rodgers for MVP. And we'll talk about Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. Also talked about that on Undisputed today. So yeah, it's been a big story. I still stand by. I go with it. It should be. I think Aaron Rodgers MVP. It's and by the way, Justin also points out that it's a regular season award, so your comments on the postseason
No, I'm just saying
don't
I
quite
understand,
go.
I understand
Yeah,
that part of it, but people, because if you think about it, like nobody's. So I'm gonna put, like, for instance,
yeah,
everybody's saying, like, I'm just using Cam as a basically saying Cam 2015 went to the Super Bowl, lost,
yeah.
but they drag him for going to the Super Bowl in 2015 and
Losing.
losing,
Okay.
but they don't bring up the fact that Aaron Rodgers hasn't been to a Super Bowl since
It's been a long time.
2010,
Yeah,
and he's lost the last two NFC Championship games. I understand it's a regular season award. I'm not
yeah.
taking that away from him, but everybody want to say he's just great of a quarterback, which he is a great
He is a
quarterback. Don't
great
get me wrong.
quarterback. You can't argue against that.
I can't argue against that.
Yeah,
But in the last couple years, he hasn't done it when it mattered. That's all I'm saying. Do it
yeah.
when it mattered. Tom Brady beat you last year.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. You ain't getting to the championship. So what happens if he don't get there this year? Is he still the great Aaron Rodgers if you don't win the bowl?
Yep.
Okay, all right. That's all I'm
You
saying.
know, it's a team game when the great quarterbacks
But the
lose.
team,
It's
but
a,
the team don't
it's
get credit. The
exactly
team don't get
when
credit when
when
they
they
win,
win,
though.
then it's all
The
a
quarterback
quarterback
gets
thing.
credit.
Exactly,
The
exactly.
quarterbacks get credit when they win.
Yeah,
That's all I'm saying.
those are the
Cam,
rules of the game, whether
so
whether they make sense or not.
how's it any different with Cam? Cam got credit for the loss in the Super Bowl, not the team, but Cam.
Yeah,
I'm just saying,
because he's.
it's not fair to judge one and not judge the other. That's all I'm saying.
I would not argue on the half of fairness. I will say that Jasper Lewis Sr., who embarrassed his son in the championship game, comments that Aaron Rodgers did it on the field. So, yes, I agree, despite the fact that he stole my trophy.
Okay.
I miss my trophy. I want my trophy back.
Okay. All right.
All right. Next story. Let me grab on this one because I'm excited. Potentially excited. Also in NFL news, Jim Harbaugh might be making his return to the NFL after
Yeah.
getting embarrassed in the BCS playoffs because Michigan looked like some garbage
Yes,
when he
they did.
played. There's a story today that he might be interested or he's open to coaching with the Las Vegas Raiders or the Chicago Bears. The last time we saw him in the NFL, he was coaching your team. And I
Yeah.
think he did a pretty good job with it. I'd be more than happy for anybody right at this point. So I could live with Jim Harbaugh as the coach of the Raiders. I think the Raiders are just a few players away from actually being relevant. We're gonna talk a little. I'm gonna talk a little bit of Raiders later, because they might be in the playoffs. So keep your eyes open on seeing if they can do that one. But Jim Harbaugh, are you buying him as a NFL coach return?
Of course. I love
Yeah.
this. I love this for y'all.
Or
I
the
think
Bears?
he'll do wonders for your quarterback,
Yeah.
personally. He's a great quarterback coach. Now, I will say this, his offensive plays or his offense does get stale at times.
Yeah.
But I do think honestly, he did well at Michigan, but I think he needs to be in the NFL as an NFL coach personally, because he fits
I think he's
honestly
an
what
NFL guy. Yeah.
because the whole college thing now with NIL, and I was just listening to somebody earlier. They said the NIL being that in a portal, it allows players to move during the year,
Yeah.
and is nobody kind of like governing that NIL, so players can go wherever they want to. And this really comes back to, you're going to see this a lot.
Uh,
A lot of these five-star players are going to HBCUs now because of NILs, and
yeah.
they're not going to these big colleges anymore for exposure when you can get the exposure
You make
and the
money.
money from a
Hmm.
HBCU now, which a lot of them are going to Jackson State, which one of these big guys transferred from I think Georgia or something, and he's going to he went through the portal. Now he's going to Jackson State. So I
Hmm.
think they're not going to say that's part of the reason, but I think that's part of the reason why, because now kids are getting paid by the NIL. They don't need these big schools anymore.
Right.
They don't need the TV. They don't need the big schools. Period. I think Jim Harbaugh is making the right decision by going back to the pros first. So
Potentially going back.
I think it's a good move for him.
Yeah, I,
So
I'm not gonna be mad at it. He's done a good job with Michigan. Only beat Ohio State this one year,
yeah,
and so some Michigan fans might argue how much they want because they look so bad. Did you watch any of the BCS playoffs?
not all of it.
Not all of
I'm
it.
not a
Yeah,
big college. I watched the Alabama game, but Alabama was gonna beat them anyway.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah, yeah. Alabama was looking pretty good. Justin says that if the Raiders make the playoffs, it's going to be a first round exit because of Super Mahomes. Of course, I don't care who they're matched up with. If the Raiders are in the playoffs, it ain't going to be for long. It'll be cool if they win potentially, but with first they got to get past the Chargers because the last time they played the Chargers, that did not look pretty either.
yeah.
My father again saying thanks for the help, Hunter Renfro. I got something to say on Hunter Renfro later, so yeah, definitely say that was a major factor. Renfro is the dude. Y'all know by now. Y'all been watching.
Yeah.
Lita says on another coaching thing that the Jaguars might be interested in Jim Caldwell.
That's a good move.
That would be. I say this about Jim Caldwell. I don't think he got the fairest of shots with Detroit because it's Detroit and they're terrible. But considering how much of a disaster Urban Meyer was, it would be it would bring some respectability to that team, and it is definitely the exact opposite of an Urban Meyer kind of guy. So that would be an interesting one to see.
It would bring structure to
I,
that team, definitely. I like the move. The last time he coached in Detroit, I don't think he had a great winning record, but they were pretty. They were a decent team.
Yeah, exactly. They had a decent record.
Yeah.
Trying to remember, I don't remember. I can't recall whether they ever made the playoffs or not. But I think they had like winning seasons.
They had a couple winning seasons with him, and they fired him for no apparent reason, which I didn't understand that.
Because it's the Lions. That's what they do.
Yeah. So, and they haven't had a winning season since then. So,
yeah,
it doesn't make any sense. I think him going there would be great for Trevor Lawrence, honestly, because it'll bring some structure there. So, I think that'll be good, personally.
It would at least be a real NFL coach, unlike Urban Meyer, which we both said was going to be a disaster, and it was nothing. It was even a worse disaster than we had. I also see, going back to the MVP conversation, need to talk about Jonathan Taylor, who I mentioned before, and Micah Parsons as an MVP. Defensive Player of the Year, I could see. MVP, I don't know. I think that one might be a stretch.
Defensive Rookie of the Year, yes. But Defensive Player of the Year?
You don't think he can get Player of the Year? Only Rookie?
I see only Rookie because his other...
Yeah, Rookie. I think Rookie Defensive Player is a lot. Yeah, that's a lot. But
I mean, Watt got 21 and a half sacks.
True.
I see Watt in anything winning it. I don't really... I mean, he could be in a running, don't get me wrong, but... I'll be surprised if they gave him Rookie of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year. And that's no hate to him because I like Michael Parsons. But I just think Watt is probably – they're going to probably give
more
it to
likely.
him.
I can see that.
He's going to break the record next year. Probably.
He's had an amazing season. What else you got NFL news?
For those that's playing in a game this week, Joe Barrow will be sitting. So if you have him, he's not playing.
Joe Mixon also.
Joe
Mixon with COVID, but it don't matter since he wouldn't be playing anyway.
Yeah, so it don't matter. NFL, the pre-draft interview. The NFL is warning teams that they can lose draft picks and they can face fines for inappropriate behavior. And when they say inappropriate behavior, they asking. And the thing is, so when they're in a draft room, they ask these guys certain questions that's really inappropriate sometimes.
Yeah.
That they shouldn't be asking, and it's probably personal questions or whatever. But I like this. I like this right here. I like the fact that they're gonna kind of crack down on this because it's not fair to the guys that's interviewing. It's not about their personal life. It's about football. Now you do want to know, like, if there's any red flags, obviously going on in your life. But if you're gonna ask something crazy or make them do something stupid, you should be fine. And I get it. And I like that rule. So
yeah. What do you think about them getting rid of the Wonderlic test?
I like it. It's fine. It's football. I mean, you go
Right.
out there to play football. These guys have been playing football all their life, so I'm pretty sure they know how to read an offense, they know how to read a defense, and they know how to read a playbook because
Yeah.
they've been playing all their life. So I don't think it changes. I don't think that test changes
Yeah.
anything.
It's kind of a silly intelligence kind of test. You can see how good, but like I'm with you. Like this is football. I don't need you to be a rocket scientist
To play
or
football.
brain surgeon. I need you to know these plays, and so
That's it.
it's kind of you can argue about bias in the testing and how much it really matters. So I'm with you.
I
So
mean, because some of the smartest guys don't pan out as good NFL players. So really, does that really matter? No, it don't. So no. Um, and then another one.
uh
The Jags fans they trolling the owner, which I love this by the
right.
way, because they're trolling the owner because he won't fire the GM, which is Trent Baalke, who I know
Oh yeah.
pretty well.
Right.
Trent Baalke is good for drafting players with ACL problems. I have never met a guy who has drafted. He has drafted a whole ACL team one season for us. ACL torn ligament. I mean, it's just insanely how bad he just. It's stupid. I think he's dumb personally
Right.
that he draft. But I think he's really a bad GM. He's not really great at all. And I would definitely fire him if I was the owner. But they're not going to do it anyway because they can retain him. But he's just going to keep drafting players that has bad history, injury history. So, oh well, that's on them. We don't have them anymore. But good luck with that.
Good low. I say this: it's the Jaguars. They're going to be terrible no matter what they do. So, who
Yeah,
cares? Uh,
exactly.
Speaking of being bad at their job, let's go switch it around to someone who's good at their job. Mike Tomlin has now gotten the record for 15 consecutive seasons without a losing record. So,
Yeah.
with the Steelers' most recent win, they've wrapped up the fact that at the very worst, they're going to be like 8-1. So
Hmm.
he's done it 15 years straight. The first coach to ever do that. So for the Steelers fans out there, y'all have a winner out there. If y'all ever want to fire him, though, send him over to Las Vegas because we could use that kind of coaching record because we've only had one, no wait, two, I think non-winning losing records in the past like 18 years. Maybe this year we can add to that horrible hard record and get our third one.
Well,
So good
he's
thing
under
for yeah. They ain't letting him go.
he's underappreciated, and to me, the last couple of years he's been underappreciated because a lot of fans, because he didn't won a Super Bowl, obviously, but a lot of
Well,
fans want him
he
gone.
did
But
early, but he hasn't
did
won one
early,
recently. Yeah,
but he's a good coach though.
yeah,
If he's gonna get hired the next day,
yeah.
literally, if he was to get fired. So
But
that
the one thing I'll say about the Steelers, they are smart in the fact that they give coaches. How many years did people want to get rid of Cowher when he was
oh my
there?
gosh, he
And,
was there for a long
they,
time.
they, they, they do not get rid of their coaches. They
No,
give them time because you need that kind of stability. And so,
exactly.
if only other teams, I'm talking to the Jaguars and the Bears and the Lions and the Jets and
Yeah,
sadly the Raiders. If you give this last coach they fired, they needed to,
they
but
need to fire
but
him.
in general, if you give your guys time and you really believe in them, come on, give them a chance to do their job. And so, congratulations, Mike Tomlin. We love him because he's a Hampton Roads guy.
He's from the area.
So, let's go.
And one more. You
Yeah.
got the Washington football team will reveal their new name and logo on February 2nd. Really don't care about this news. I'm just interested to see what their name is
I
gonna
know.
be and what the logo gonna look. But they dropped a little snippet today, like they blurred out the
Yeah.
video of the jersey and the helmet. But they say it's supposed to look nice, I guess. We'll see. We don't know.
Yeah.
They still gonna be losing, so it don't matter. So
Basically,
yeah.
we'll see what happens. We have a fan of the show, Tony. I'm sure he'll be excited to find out what their new name is. So we'll have to invite him back in the off season for the reveals. Give him a moment to talk about whatever the heck he wants to talk about with that terrible dumpster fire of a team.
Yeah.
Um, one last bit of NFL news I add in, and today the Titans have put Derrick Henry on reserve on the injured reserve return list. Do you think there's any chance we see him in the playoffs?
Yeah, I think he's coming
Yeah,
back. I think he's coming back. I think he's gonna play too.
yeah.
They
That's
and
just stupid. It's like, how is that even possible?
because he's Derrick Henry. Have you watched this man train?
I have, but still,
I mean, geez, he's not a small guy. He trains
he's
like he
not a
runs.
human.
He runs hills, bro. Like it's
Yeah,
crazy. Like it's
it's
crazy. He runs hills. It's insane. The way his training is
yeah.
insane.
I've seen the videos of him training, and I stand by the fact that Derrick Henry is not a human being.
He's not human, bro. I'm
No,
telling you,
not even slightly human.
he is not human.
So
He is the guy is like for him to be so big and he runs high. So that's the thing when you
yeah,
run high, that's probably like the most dangerous way to run a football. But no one complains because he's good.
because he will smash you out the way if you dare to get even close to him. So,
Ask
oh,
Josh Norman how that feels.
there you go. So,
Yeah,
you
Josh
know,
Norman know he definitely knows. So, but we still got a question. Somebody asked about our Super Bowl picks.
yeah, Super Bowl picks. Super Bowl picks. Do you have any? The 49ers against.
Yeah, if we make the playoffs, I'm saying the 49ers against anybody in the AFC. No, I'm just joking. Um,
Right.
Honestly, I'm gonna say, and this is gonna hurt my heart a little bit to say this, but representing the AFC, I'm going Kansas City and probably Green Bay, because and the
Right.
reason I say this,
Mm-hmm.
I think the league wants this more than anything because that was, correct me if I'm wrong, that was the first Super Bowl when they did the merger of the AFL and the
Right.
NFL. Um, I want to say 51 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. It was
Yeah.
somewhere,
Something.
can't remember,
Yeah.
but I want to say, but I think it's gonna be Kansas City and Green Bay. Maybe throwing to Tom Brady, but the way it's looking right now, I would say Kansas City, Green Bay. But I wouldn't be surprised if Tom got me again, honestly. But on a long route for my boys to get there,
Yeah. Yeah.
definitely.
That ain't happening.
So whatever.
um, I said at the beginning of the season, I'm going with Kansas City and the Rams in the Super Bowl. I'm not gonna switch it up, but I will say I don't have as much faith in that as I did at the beginning of the season. But Chiefs and the Rams are my original picks, and those are both possible. I like the Kansas City Chiefs more than the Rams, but I will say this: if this monster Derrick Henry gets back, and he's back as Derrick Henry, I like those Titans. Those Titans, because the Titans have managed to look pretty decent with Derrick Henry out. The defense is legit.
Yeah.
And if they get that running game going, Ryan Tannehill might come back to life again and look like a decent
After the fact.
quarterback. Yeah, right. now that I no longer need Ryan
Yeah,
Tannehill for
after the fact,
anything,
yeah,
right?
of course.
So I think if they get Derrick Henry back, the Titans should be quite a formidable team. I don't think anyone else. The Bengals have been a cool story, but I don't
Yeah.
see the Bengals getting through the playoffs. I think when you get to the playoffs, you kind of need that veteran leadership, and the Bengals don't have that. They're a young team. They're going to be a problem
Yeah.
in the years coming up. We'll talk when we talk a little bit about games. Well, maybe we won't talk a lot about the Bengals because they have no incentive to really play.
Nah.
But if we were talking about all the games and we mentioned the Bengals, we would talk about how Jamar Chase is just stupidly good. How Joe Barrow has been insanely good. T. Higgins, Tyler
Yes.
Boyd even throwing his name in the hat. Like Joe Mixon is good. So it's like that Bengals offense is going to be a problem for years to come. But I don't think they can get it done this year. I don't really believe the Patriots can get through the AFC. So I'm going with. I'm trying to think what I think about. The Bills have started to reemerge a little bit. But if you're going to ask me who's the best team in the AFC, I'm going to say hands down, I believe it's going to be the Chiefs and maybe the inhuman Titans. On the NFC side, well, I still think the Rams are a formidable opponent. I don't think they've shown that they're as good as the Packers or even the Bucks. But the Bucks, I saw a comment early on AB. I jump back to that a little bit. I honestly don't want to talk a lot about that
AB.
guy who's dead to me this week. But I don't. The Bucks. I think they're gonna. I think their injury thing is gonna probably get to them a little bit and keep them from getting back in the Super Bowl. So if it's not the Packers, I actually do like the Rams as being my potential team to get represent for the NFC. So
I mean, I like the Bengals. I think Chase Young is gonna win. Not Chase Young, not Chase Young, but
Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase is gonna win offensive rookie of the year.
Stupidly good.
He got about 1,400 yards and like 10 touchdowns. Like he definitely is gonna win this thing. But they were saying Mac Jones probably would win it, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening too much.
Mac Jones has been impressive, but far more than what we thought he would be. But you can't tell me he's been nearly as good as Jamar Chase.
Not even.
Our producer's helping us out and making sure that we are correct. That first Super Bowl was the Packers and the Chiefs. Yeah. She would know.
Yes, she would.
Nita says she thinks it's going to be a repeat Tampa Bay and Chiefs for the Super Bowl, and this time the Chiefs win. So that would be cool. And yeah, they're not going to be Tom struck. So. Yeah, and the offensive line will hopefully be much better. And so I think that's really messed them up. She also says that the Bengals are too young. I agree with that. Yeah. Chiefs need another ring, Lena Lewis says. And my father says, sadly, Derrick Henry was injured, so he is human. It didn't matter. He went out of your lineup and you still won.
So, exactly. You got the ring. Come on.
You got the ring, so you do what you do.
I think, honestly, with the playoffs, a lot of that slows down, and it really comes down to defense and like running. Yeah. So the Bengals' defense is not that great, but their offense is really good. Yeah. So it's just I think they will have to stop somebody first on defense to win games, and they can't do that. The defense is not that great, so no.
Not at all. No. Anita also does not think Josh Allen and the Bills or the Patriots are going to do it because Belichick, for one, still has the training wheels on Mac Jones, which he will keep on.
Yeah, because Mac Jones is a game manager at best. He's really a game manager. I don't think if you gave him the whole playbook and say, "Hey, go win me a game,"
I don't think he's ready for that yet.
Yeah, I don't think he's ready for that. With Josh Allen and the Bills, I think at the end of the day, their running game is going to be their biggest question mark for me because they don't have one. Yeah. So, and Josh Allen is their running game. So, if he has to be healthy enough to do that, to do both pass and run. And if he keep getting hit like that, then he's going to get killed. He's not going to last long.
Yeah, and Sydney is staying silent on the Chiefs, which is her normal way anyway. If you don't speak about them, they'd be okay. So
I guess, man, I got them going. They've been playing really good lately. I ain't gonna sit here and lie. They've been playing good. So they look dangerous.
How about the Chiefs and the 49ers matching up again?
Hey, look, man, I'm gonna tell you like this: if Jimmy Garoppolo is out there, we're not going to the playoffs. We're not going to make the playoffs. If Trey Lance is out there,
you're still not making it.
I mean, no, if Trey Lance is out there, I feel like we can make the playoffs. Now, what we do in the playoffs, I have no clue. I mean, because right now we have a good running game, good defense is playing good, but we just need, you can't rely on him to win games, and that's the big problem. Trey can come in, and Trey played well last week. Yeah. And I think they should continue to play in Trey, but this man got a torn ligament, bro. He's missing his bone is split in his stomach. He's still trying to play football. I don't think he's going to play this week. But if we get there, hey, look, I'm more than happy. And, me and Sydney, we just going to have to be grudging again, man. It's okay, It's all family over here, man. R&J, man.
Sydney is not wanting to see that 49ers matchup. I can see. We can see that right there.
Because she already know I'm going to keep talking. If we get to the Super Bowl, I'm not going to stop talking. I'm just letting you know.
when have you ever stopped talking anyway? So
Never. That's why I'm so good on the mic, you know.
hey, you ready to do this? Since it is our last week for the regular season, you ready to take our look back and see how we
Yeah,
did?
man. Yeah, yeah,
Want to
yeah.
start with the bold predictions?
Let's go, man. Come on,
All
man.
right, this is your world. This is your camera. We'll remind everybody about your bold predictions.
It was bad. I ain't hit on none of them. It's okay. Uh, so my bold predictions were Cam Newton throwing for 4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 10 rushing. That did not work for me. Antonio Gibson getting 1,000. That didn't work. My biggest one disappointing was Mike Davis as a top 5 running back. I don't know what happened to him. Um, and CD Lamb getting 1,500 yards and 10 touchdowns. That could have happened, but it didn't happen. And Trey Lance being named the starter week 1, which he should have been. Because if we was gonna play like this, he might as well have been starting. So, but hey, sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some. It's all good. I take that. But I still got 4 rings though. So I'm gonna leave it at that.
Who cares about bold predict? For
Who
every
cares
prediction
about
you
bold
got wrong,
predictions?
you got a championship. So
That's right.
it all worked out. I jump into mine as well, but first Nita says she likes Matthew Stafford, but doesn't see them doing anything in the postseason. He never got it done
So
with the
well,
Lions, but they're the Lions. I think this is a really good squad he has there. It's going to be interesting, I think, to see how the Rams do in the playoffs. They've been looking a bit better as of late. But I guess the first test would be whether they can beat you guys this week coming up.
yeah,
Because beating the 49ers is not something the Rams have done a good job of
not
doing.
even.
Not at all. So this would be the first test. It's not quite the playoffs. They're already clinched and they're in the playoffs anyway. But I think that what's interesting about this new playoff format that they have, where there's only one team with a bye week, I think it made it kind of interesting. In the NFC, it's already been decided who's getting that bye.
Hmm.
So the rest of it is just teams playing to win their divisions and playing for seeding.
Yeah.
So there's some motivation there. And AFC is a little bit cloudier. So we'll see. I think the Titans are going. The Titans only have to beat the Texans to get that 1 seed. And
Yeah.
come on, stranger things have happened, but I think it's pretty much a foregone conclusion that it'll be the Texans. But that at least leaves the AFC with a lot to play for, because especially for the fact that Titans game is on Sunday, so the Chiefs have to play seriously. One would think against Denver, because they still have the chance to get that one spot. So it
Well,
should
they
be cool.
say the Rams, if they win this week, can clinch
Yeah,
the NFC West
yeah,
with
yeah. So
Arizona losing.
they have a better seed than the Cardinals,
Yeah.
for
So
instance. So
it's possible. I mean, it's a lot of games that's out there
yeah.
that still need to be kind of shaked out a
Yeah.
little bit.
So
So
I don't think
it's
because usually the last week of the season people don't really care. I think there's a lot of motivation for teams to do well. There's a few that don't have it, and we'll talk about a little bit of that later.
yeah.
But let me stop procrastinating and get to my bold predictions. I did not turn out much better than you did, so we'll put them up there for the fans to watch and judge me harshly. My first one was that the Raiders would have 1,000-yard wide receiver. I am right on that one. I said it's most likely going to be Brian Edwards. It was nowhere near Brian Edwards. The 1 year I wasn't saying it's going to be Hunter Renfro. It ended up being Hunter Renfro. But I'm going to give myself half credit on that one, because I did say they have a 1,000-yard receiver. I thought that Derek Carr was going to have a really good year, and it was going to show in his wide receivers, as well as, and I think part of what helped that out was Darren Waller was so hurt this year that they needed to go elsewhere, and so Hunter Renfro picked up the slack brilliantly and helped my father win the championship. But that's cool. My second prediction was that there would not be a rookie running back, including Najee Harris, that tops 1,000 yards. I was so close but so far away. everyone knew the only guy that this one I didn't think was that bold when I said it, only because we knew that there was only one running back with a shot. Because so many people were saying, because Javonte Williams was going to be going against Melvin Gordon, we already knew that Urban Meyer said he wasn't going to use the guy's name who escapes me right now as a running back, Forte, whatever. I can't remember. He didn't play hardly any of the season, so it didn't matter. So really, the only rookie that had a shot at 1,000 yards was Najee Harris, and because the Steelers' run, offensive line and their rushing offense was so bad the last few years, I took a gamble and said Najee Harris wouldn't do it. He did it, and he looked really good last week. For those that had him on your fantasy, I'm pretty sure we'll talk. For fantasy players, they were very excited because he got an unnecessary touchdown that I saw actually did help up a lot of people. So congratulations, Najee Harris. We did see a rookie top 1,000 yards. My third one was going to be a breakout year for David Montgomery because of Justin Fields being the starting quarterback. David Montgomery was hurt, so that never happened. Sam Darnold was going to have his breakout year as well. That didn't happen, and Sam Darnold ended up looking terrible and bench. I also said because of that, the Panthers would be number 2 in their division. That surely didn't happen. And I said there would be 4 tight ends that top 1,000 yards this year. I am 100 yards short on that, and that's because George Kittle can't stay healthy. If he had stayed healthy, he could have made it. And even with his injury, if he hadn't sucked the last 2 weeks, he could have done it. So you said earlier today that there's a chance that he could still get 100 yards. He only needs 100 yards, and so you said there's a chance it happens. I wouldn't put a lot of money on that one going down, but I was close. On my predictions. Still had a few things not going away. Darren Waller being hurt, I think, really messed me up. T.J. Hawkinson being hurt messed that one up. I might pull that 4 tight ends with 1,000 yards back out next year. We got 3 of them that did it. Mark Andrews did it. Travis Kelce always does it. And Kyle Pitts became the first rookie since Mike Ditka to get 1,000 yards as a tight end. So I only needed one more tight end, and all my possibles did not pan out.
I mean, he still might get it.
I still might get
yards. Lord.
You say 100 yards like it's small number.
I mean, it ain't that many. He can get 100 yards.
He can put it. Well, hey, if he gets it, then I will update on my Twitter and say, hey, I got it right. So, but I at least got one of my predictions completely right. Well, halfway right. So I'm happy with that one.
Don't do my boy like that, man.
So he might get it. I wish George Kittle had done well last week because, again, he only gave me 3 points in my championship game.
We won.
And so, huh?
We won.
I don't care about you. I don't care about your team.
I do.
Anyway, that's what I asked. Who are our surprise teams of the year, good and bad? He says Tennessee being good without Derrick Henry, which that was a complete surprise. And bad, he has the Browns. What do you got? Surprise teams this year?
I would agree. With him with the Browns.
Yeah.
But I thought they would. The thing with the Browns is they have everything but a quarterback.
Yeah.
So I thought they would rely more on the running game than they did this year because I think they put the ball in Baker Mayfield's hands a little bit too much this year.
Right.
So that made him bad. He's not a really good quarterback. Period. He's a subpar game manager at best. But my surprise team is the Bengals.
Yeah.
I would say the Bengals, because the Bengals caught a lot of flack for not drafting an offensive lineman when they needed one personally, but they drafted Jamar Chase, which in turn they end up winning 10 games. So I would say the Browns. I mean, I would say the Bengals are my surprise team, honestly. And I throw another one out there, even though I don't like them, but Arizona, they actually came out and played well this year. So those two are my surprise team.
I would say for my surprise good team, I'm going to start with the Patriots because if you watch the Patriots last year, they were a complete dumpster fire. They had a lot of players opt out for COVID, so they had those guys return, but then they started with the Mac Jones thing. I was like, yeah, this team is not going to be good. And hey, they're in the playoffs, and they looked really good this year.
Yeah.
So I did not see the Patriots doing nearly as well as they did. I'm kind of surprised by the Browns being as bad as they were, eliminated from the playoffs completely after making it a year ago. But because I hate the Browns, that one I'm not gonna be completely baffled by. But I think a team that excuse me was somewhat surprisingly bad to me this year, and they aren't bad by I guess normal standards, but I don't think we're gonna see the Ravens make the playoffs, and to me that's a surprise because I thought the Ravens were gonna come in as one of the best teams in the NFL. I thought this was the year we would see Lamar Jackson look like his MVP year, and as of late, we haven't even seen Lamar Jackson. Um,
Well, I think part of they led the league in injuries this year.
yeah,
So
yeah,
they had what 25, 30 injuries. They
yeah.
lost their
I
whole
mean, they
secondary.
started off the year without any running
Run
backs.
backs. Yeah. So
So yeah, there's a reason why they were so
exactly.
surprisingly bad this year. But I guess if you had asked me at the beginning of the season, I would have said the Ravens are potentially AFC representation in the Super Bowl, and yeah, that ain't happening by any stretch of the imagination. And so I'm
Yeah.
more surprised by the Ravens potentially not making the playoffs. I don't think
Yeah.
they're gonna make it. Than I am by the Browns.
Well, another team which I'm happy to say this, but they were disappointed. Is I thought Seattle would come out and be a little
A
bit
little bit
better
better.
this year than they were. I knew they was. I know the division is tough, but I
Yeah,
also
that
think
division is
they
stupidly good.
they
Yeah,
they played. They good head coach, good structure, but I think the Russell Wilson injury kind of killed them a little bit.
yeah,
But that goes back to not having an O line. Then they lost their starting running back, so a lot of it could be injuries, but partly coaching. Then Russell Wilson not wanting to be there, so I kind of get it, but I was a little surprised at
yeah.
the way they played, honestly.
Yeah, Anita's agreeing about the Browns and not understanding why teams. People are very pro Browns because
Browns.
people keep talking about at the beginning of the season the Browns could be the Super Bowl. I was like, no, the Browns aren't that good. But yeah, for some reason they get a lot of support. We'll see what happens with them in the off season. I'm really interested to see
The
what they
question with
decide to
that
do with Baker
Baker,
Mayfield.
yep.
Yeah,
Uh,
um,
that's a tough one
yeah,
there. I don't bring them back. I go get another
yeah.
quarterback. That's all they missing.
You got to
They
go
just
somewhere.
yeah.
She also says that it's the Ravens coach. We talked about Jim. She's blaming John for the Ravens not making the playoffs this year.
Well, and I agree with her because it's
Yeah,
been. I think I watched about 3 games where he went for it on
yeah,
fourth down when they should have just kicked the field goal, and they would have won the game actually. So those couple games that he did that was part of the reason why they're not in the playoffs. And they would be in the
yeah.
playoffs at this point if they would have actually
One,
just kicked the field goal.
yeah,
So I kind of I agree with her on is some of his decision making was not that great as far as what he wanted to do on fourth down.
yeah.
So he was trying to do too much personally for me. I would have just get the field goal and took it and went home. But that's just me. So I agree with her totally on that one. So definitely. But,
All right. Jumping into fantasy because it is technically a fantasy football show, even though most of us are done or pretty much done for the year. You got any players you want to jump out early and say snag these guys for next year?
don't wait to grab Debo.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yo,
That was the biggest mistake
you
I made
it,
this
it
year.
wasn't in your top five vote predictions, but you did say early on about Debo finishing. What did you say? Like top three
Top three,
wide
yeah,
receiver? Yo,
yeah. So don't wait on Debo.
yeah,
I think Joe Barrow is going to be a
yeah,
top 5 quarterback next year.
yeah,
In fantasy, I just feel like with that offense that they have.
Yeah.
And you know what's a crazy stat, man?
Uh huh.
Is all those guys are under 25. Mixon, Barrow, uh, Higgins, and Chase are all under
Yeah.
25.
They are gonna be
And
a problem.
they had 1,000-yard rusher,
Yeah.
2,000-yard receivers, and they have a receiver in Tyler Bull who got 900 yards. So just think about the fact that that offense is going to be so crazy next year
Yeah.
with them being together for a whole nother year. I think Joe Burrow is going to be a top 5 quarterback next year in fantasy.
Here's a guy you love and you talked about all year, Justin Herbert. Do you go?
Yes.
Do you go Joe Burrow over Justin Herbert next year?
That's a tough one, man.
Right.
Lord, you got to do me like this, man. Too early. I can't be. My head ain't ready for that stuff yet.
Not in that you frame of mind yet.
Um,
Yeah.
do I go Joe Burrow over Justin Herbert? Right now, at the moment, I'm saying yes.
Right.
At the moment, yes. That could change now, but at the moment, I just think the weapons he got, man,
Yeah.
it's crazy, man. I'm telling you, the weapons he got is
It's
crazy.
insane.
And I'm putting him ahead of a lot of people.
Yeah.
I'm bumping a lot of quarterbacks down off my list
Uh,
next year, and I'm putting him there, man. Like I gotta put him there.
do you dare put him as high as number 1 overall?
Number one.
Quarterback.
Number one. Pat Mahomes.
It's hard to not go Pat, right?
I'm putting him at 2.
You put him there too? Okay.
I'm putting him on Josh Allen.
Yeah, I would.
Put him on Josh Allen right now. And then I think another guy that I think is going to go pretty high next year, depending on where he go, Deshaun Watson.
That's gonna be the story of the off season. One,
Deshaun Watson.
because now that football's almost over, we're getting closer to when they're gonna actually do the court things and see how this investigation goes. Yeah, that one, that's the mystery.
If he
right
if
there.
he ends up in Denver
Man.
somewhere, oh man, that I'm telling you
Yeah.
that quarterback list probably would be the hardest list to make next year for me because it's so many. You got to pull some of the older guys out of it,
Right.
and you got to put a lot of those new guys in there. And I think I'm telling you, Joe Burrow, Deshaun Watson. I mean, obviously Pat Mahomes is number one, but I think you can flop a Joe Burrow for Josh Allen. You can't. For me.
Yeah. I easily, just because, like you said, weapons alone, I put Joe Burrow above Josh Allen. I'm not. It's too early for me to say, but I'm wondering about that top spot with Patrick Mahomes. It's so easy to always just say Patrick Mahomes, but like you said, that offense is
crazy.
Gonna be a problem.
A whole nother year together,
Yeah.
And all they got to do is draft an offensive lineman
Yeah.
and get some secondary help. I'm trying to tell you, that team is going to be dangerous next year.
That team
and
is going to be
that offense is going to be even dangerous. Now, the one person I think that is going to fall, I think, is Dak Prescott. Prescott is going to fall a little bit, not much, but I think he's going to fall just a tad bit down the list.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Another one is Brady. Brady played well early in the year, but late in the year, he didn't really show out like he normally would. So I got Brady falling. I got Josh Allen falling a little bit, not much.
Mm-hmm.
I got Deshaun coming up.
The next question is what happens with Aaron Rodgers?
Well, we don't know what he's gonna do. If he retires, where he go at, but you gotta keep him. And to be honest with you, I think Green Bay goes to more of a running game next year.
AJ
I think it's going to be a 50-50 split run pass next year with them. You keep Aaron Rodgers in the top 10, but I would take some guys over him.
Okay.
Honestly. And that has nothing to do with what I feel about him. That's just, if you want purely fantasy, he's right at the bottom 10. Probably 7, 8.
Okay.
7, 8, 9, somewhere around there. Because you got to go Mahomes, you got to go Allen, you got to go Barrow, Herbert, Deshaun. That's five right there.
That's
So
five easily.
yeah, that's five easily right there. So
Yeah,
if you think about those five and plus six, so you're taking out Matt Ryan, who's out
yeah,
of that 10 to 12 list. Taking out a Kirk Cousins.
yeah,
It's a lot of guys that's gonna be moving up coming
yeah.
up this year. It's gonna be pretty crazy. Like, what do you put Jalen Hurts next year?
He's an interesting one. I wanted to see a little bit more progression from him this year than I think we've seen. But overall, especially fantasy wise, I think he's been quite the serviceable guy.
Yeah,
And I would imagine better next year. What I guess gets me on Jalen Hurts is the thing with the Eagles again. I imagine they still keep trying to get their wide receiver room looking better
yeah, they have to.
because yeah, I'm not even understanding what's happening. But I think you talk about running games, the way they Miles Sanders and everyone, even Jordan Howard apparently, they put
Yeah,
in they really are focusing on becoming more of a running team, and Jalen Hurts is going to be getting rushing yards as well. I think Jalen Hurts. Maybe I don't think I'm really ready to put him in like a tier 2
yeah.
QB yet. But I say tier 3, potential borderline tier 2 kind of guy next year.
Hmm. Now, does who slides out of your 10?
Oh, well, I have to write out my 10 first.
In
Cause
your head, right off the top.
like you said, Mahomes of course always gets in my top 10.
Yeah.
Josh Allen, I've got Burrow, I got Herbert in my top 10. Who am I? Who Aaron Rodgers, no matter where he is, will still be a top 10 guy for me.
Hmm.
I'm interested to see what they do. Here's a guy who might slide in my top 10 next year. That's Derek Carr. Um,
Mm.
I put a big boost on Ryan Tannehill last year,
Wow.
thinking he would jump. He did not jump for me, but I think I've seen enough from Derek Carr, assuming he's still with the Raiders and they can work on their wide receiver group as well. And Darren Waller comes back healthy. I think he's a guy who slips in my top 10 for next year. Do I lead Tom Brady? I think I have to say Tom Brady still deserves a top 10
Yeah,
jump. I think his wide receiver room got a lot injured towards the end of the year,
that's true.
and they still have that. Well, the guy who's dead to me apparently is no longer a Buck, even though he hasn't been released yet.
Oh, he's
Um,
been released. He's
or
been
did
released.
they just release him? Because I know earlier
Yeah,
today he
he's been
was
released.
still technically on the team.
Yeah.
Um, so, but I don't think they need him. I think Stafford belongs in the top 10 next year.
Oh, that's a
Um,
tough one for me.
hey, if you have Robert Woods and Cooper Cup, and maybe they bring back OBJ, but if not, even Van Jefferson, I think it's going to be hard for Stafford to not be a top 10 guy. Here's the question: do I put Lamar Jackson in my top 10 next year? I don't think so.
Lamar hasn't been in my top 10
I know
in
he's
years.
never yours.
So,
So I've got that's 8 guys. I have Burrow. I've got Burrow. I got Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, Derek Carr, Matthew Stafford, Tom Brady's eternal. Who's filling out my top 10? Who am I leaving out? Uh, Off the top of my head, I guess just for my
Kyler
lack of
Murray?
people, I put
Kyler Murray?
yeah. I'm not a
I,
big Murray guy.
me
Um,
either.
but he almost got me into a championship game this year. I guess Dak and Murray are the 2 names that are left. I'm trying to think of someone I could suggest above those 2. Um,
Dak and Dak at the back end.
yeah.
Did you put Deshaun in there?
Oh, you know what? I'm still not a believer in Deshaun Watson as a person. Yeah, so I keep forgetting. But yeah, assuming Deshaun Watson is playing next year, yeah, he's easily in. He knocks Dak Prescott right out of that top 10 list.
Ooh,
Uh,
ooh. Okay, now. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Thank you. I
Mm.
forgot about Deshaun Watson. I have to get used to him playing football again. It's been weird of him not playing this entire year.
I mean, the Derek Carr one, I definitely Derek Carr is a low end,
He has to get touchdowns. He's been improving with yards every year.
but the touchdowns
The
ain't there.
touchdowns is just killing me.
Yeah. So I think
Oh, my
if
father
you
mentions Russell Wilson. We'll see what happens where he goes. Here's
if you
something interesting. If he's in Denver and healthy, I think that's a good place for him.
I think so too, but the problem with Russ is in Seattle, they didn't give him the range to be Russ.
Right.
And I think that's part of the problem.
And
If he
that's why
goes
he
to
won't be there
yeah,
next
if he
year. Yeah.
goes to Denver, I
Yeah.
think he's gonna be like, but don't sleep now. I
Uh,
can see New Orleans,
that's the
Russell
bill.
Wilson in New Orleans with Michael Thomas. And if you give him Michael Thomas,
Yeah, that would be.
that would be
Give him
crazy.
Sean Payton.
Yeah,
Right.
give him Sean
Sean
Payton.
Payton
Like,
and Michael Thomas. Yeah,
yeah.
that would
I
be.
mean, he's definitely he's 10 to 12 though.
Yeah.
So he's the guy on probably if obviously most drafts are a snake.
Yeah.
So he's the guy on a wraparound if you're in two
Oh
quarterback
yeah.
leagues.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I can see him. Now I got a question for you.
Yeah.
The 5 rookies that came out this year,
Okay.
what do you put them at?
Um, the 5 rookies that came. We're talking.
Quarterbacks.
Okay, I was going to ask you. Are we talking
Quarter,
quarterbacks or just rookies in general?
5 rookie
So we
quarterbacks.
got Mac Jones. You got
Mm-hmm.
Davis Mills. We've got, of
Trevor,
course, Trevor Lawrence, who
Trevor Lawrence.
was not anything near what people expected. You have Justin Fields. Who am I missing?
Trey.
And oh yeah, your guy, Trey Lance.
Trey.
um, Looking at that list next year, I hate not to say it, but Mac Jones might be number one. Honestly, going into next year, I'm not interested in any of those guys. Maybe Justin Fields, depending on who the coach
Coaches.
is there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Davis Mills has been interesting to me, but I'm not going to pick him because I don't know what's happening. I don't think Deshaun Watson is back there regardless of what happens next year. So if Davis Mills is the starter next
Yeah.
year and they can get some more talent there, he could be interesting.
He could
Only because they're going to be so bad. He's going to be throwing the ball like constantly.
all the time.
Like,
Yes.
Trevor Lawrence, I'm also going to wait to see who the coach is. Trevor Lawrence didn't. I told you, I liked Joe Burrow last year more than I
Yeah.
liked Trevor Lawrence this year. And I saw nothing from Trevor Lawrence that makes me like him going into next year.
That's true.
I don't think it can be worse than this year because they should, especially someone like, I don't know if Jim Caldwell will get the job, but if they have a reputable a reputable head coach there,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it could make him an interesting play. But let me see what happens with your guy Trey Lance in that offense. Let me see who goes to Chicago, and that might change my mind on Justin Fields. But at the moment, I'm gonna have to go with Mac Jones, and
I'm
I
gonna
don't
have
like
to-
that either.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you on
Yeah.
that one. I'm gonna have to, and I guess this is gonna sound homerish, but whatever.
Yeah, you can be a homer.
It's okay. I think if you're looking at teams like Matt Jones, that team is built defensive wise, special teams, running, so they're gonna stay afloat regardless. I think he doesn't have the weapons,
Yeah,
receiver wise, that the other like the 49ers have.
Right.
Or now Zach Wilson, I just think,
oh yeah, forgot
and
Zach
I
Wilson.
was high on Zach Wilson, but I think Zach Wilson is he's unpolished. He has
Yeah.
to get better.
He
in
has
the
to stop
pocket.
throwing interceptions as much
Yeah.
for one thing. But he's a rookie, so I'm not really going to hold that too much against him.
But
I do like Elijah Moore.
I like Elijah Moore too.
He makes that
But-
interesting.
But Elijah Moore, is he going to be a quarterback next year?
Is Zach Wilson going to be the
I
quarterback?
mean, Zach Wilson. I'm sorry, Zach Wilson. Is Zach Wilson going to be?
I would
Elijah Moore,
think
the
so.
receiver. The receiver. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But I like Justin Fields. Um,
Allen Robinson has to be better.
I think he's not
If
gonna be
you
there.
don't think he's going to be there at all next year?
I think Mooney's gonna be number one,
Oh,
like he
Mooney is
was this year.
definitely number one. Yeah.
Yeah. I like Justin Fields going into his second year. I think he made strides every game.
Yeah.
Trey, I think Trey's gonna do well. Debo, Kittles,
Yeah.
Ayuk, that running game. I mean, you can't go wrong in that offense, honestly. Trevor Lawrence is the big question mark for me because they have good running backs. James Robinson is a really good running back. They just
Yeah.
don't know how to use him.
And
Um,
Travis Etienne,
that's
come
the
back and
question
be
mark. That's
something.
for
Yeah.
me. That's the biggest question mark. How do they work both of those guys in?
Yeah.
Because
Well, Urban
obviously,
Meyer was going to make him a wide receiver. So,
well, but that's not
yeah,
happening next year.
I know, right?
Um, the question: do they get rid of James Robinson?
Who knows?
I
I
don't
wouldn't.
see it happening.
I
But I
wouldn't.
mean, if they got Trevor Etienne there, do they make him the feature back, or do they split carries? I mean, that's the question mark there.
Yeah.
I don't see any of them. For one's making a leap, I guess it's got to be Justin Fields, Trey Lance, Mac Jones. Those three for me.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence, I don't see him making a super leap like next
I
year.
think he basically has to repeat his rookie year because that was
Yeah,
such a disaster with the coaching. You're kind of starting at square one with
yeah,
Trevor
definitely.
Lawrence. Yeah.
And Zach Wilson, I just think that O line is horrible. I love, like you said, I love Elijah Moore. I like Michael Carter. So they have a good nucleus as far as quarterback, number one running back, number one wide receiver. So they have it there. It's just the O
Yeah.
line is just bad. O line no block for nobody, and the defense, the front four is bad. Secondary, so the stuff that matters to keep them in the game,
Yeah.
it doesn't work for them. So I get it, I understand, but those are the ones I'm looking at. I think Justin Fields, Lance, and I think those three will work out the most, but we'll see.
We'll see.
Um,
Nita
that's
asks us, why is there no love for Lamar Jackson or Jameis Winston?
uh, first of all, Lamar, for me personally, I think he needs to less running, more passing. I understand that's his game. I understand that's how he does his thing. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
he's never gonna win anything or win anybody any fantasy leagues because he doesn't throw enough. And it's a passing league. Lamar barely throws it 300 yards, and I think he only did it twice this year, if I'm not mistaken. And I think that's part of the problem. He needs to pocket presence has to be a little bit better. He has to be that guy that's going to sit and actually throw the ball because no real number one receiver is going to come there
Yeah.
and want to play with him because his first read is to run or Mark Andrews. Nobody else is getting a taste of that, the football, period. So, and Jameis, Jameis is Jameis. Come on, man.
The big question with Lamar, I like Lamar, but like you said, for fantasy purposes, he has not been that guy except for that
Yeah.
one MVP year. Um, he's not a guy you can rely on for fantasy numbers because, like you said, the Ravens' first thing is to be a running team,
Yeah, running
and that
team, yeah.
includes the quarterback. And so, he's not really a serviceable fantasy football quarterback. And Jameis' problem is he might not have a job next year.
That's the problem with
so,
Jameis.
so I mean, based off this year, he's shown I think some snippets, but with him missing most of the year, I can't guarantee you where Jameis will be, whether he did enough for New Orleans to say, we want you to be the starter next year. I'm going to go out on a limb and say no. And if he's not there, I don't know where he is. Whether he's a backup somewhere would probably be the most likely thing to happen. So yeah, you're not going to put Jameis high on your fantasy wish list for next year until we find out some news that makes it a thing. But
Well, it's I feel like it'd be it's a lot of job. There's a few job openings next year.
yeah,
I don't see where he could land personally, as a starter, probably Washington. Um,
Could be interesting.
could be interested in Washington, but I don't. I think they go a
Team him
different
up with
direction.
Riverboat Ron. That
Hey, I
right.
mean, could happen, but
Yeah.
I don't see him really starting nowhere. That's my biggest question
Yeah.
mark with Jameis. If he's starting somewhere, then yes, that's fine. But he's probably going to be on a 1 year leash.
Coming
Where,
off that injury ain't gonna help.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I think that's part of the problem. So Jameis could be a good quarterback. It's just he has to limit mistakes, and
Yeah.
that's always been his biggest problem. Interceptions, fumbles, turnovers. Period. Even though he got laser surgery, it still don't help.
They didn't correct his eyesight enough.
No, not even enough. So no. So that's all I got.
All right.
Got anything else?
Any of the games you feel the need to speak on? Um, like we said, Packers, they're not doing anything. Cowboys and Eagles might not even be worth watching for fantasy purposes because there's really not much motivation on either team, either one of those teams. Like we mentioned, the Bengals, they're not going to play a lot of guys. Are there any games you're interested in coming up this weekend
I mean,
for your
obviously,
fantasy?
I can.
Well,
Um,
other than your homer.
I mean, I'm in.
That
I'm in.
that's actually for fantasy football purposes could be an interesting one with your
It could.
Rams and 49ers.
Cam
So,
Akers is supposed to play this
yeah,
week. I guess that that means something. But I guess But I am looking at the Pittsburgh Baltimore game.
yeah,
Pittsburgh could clinch a playoff spot, but they would need a bunch of stuff to
yeah.
happen. They would need to win. The Chargers need to lose. Indy need to lose. Miami need to lose. So for them to get in the playoffs, it's just a whole bunch of
It's a
stuff.
lot.
And honestly, New Orleans can get in if they win this week. If they get in,
Yeah,
they can get in if they win if we lose.
yeah.
So,
They need some help as well.
but I don't think nobody want to see New Orleans in the playoffs. So I think that's just terrible, personally.
Playing Taysom Hill could
And
be good for you for your fantasy squad if you're in there, but I would say hopefully you'd have better options.
yeah,
Nita asked also why would Jameis Winston I guess be traded? He was doing well before. He was doing all right before he got hurt.
doing all right, but he
yeah,
wasn't doing
well,
great.
yeah, well might be too strong of a word,
Yeah,
but he was playing all right, and he would be traded because I don't think they believe in him as the guy. I just don't. just
I,
for the fact that one, it took so long for him to be named the starter,
yeah.
and then not like Taysom Hill was terrible. But honestly, I don't think they believe in Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston as the guy. So if they could get a chance to bring in somebody like you mentioned earlier, maybe a Russell Wilson
Yeah.
playing there or somebody, I think they would, in a heartbeat, try to improve their situation there. So
And
that's
I think that they gave Taysom a lot of money. Um,
yeah.
I don't understand why, but still, they gave him a lot of money.
They gave
to
him a lot of
possibly-
money. It's
to possibly
adjustable
do-
money, but it's
yeah.
still a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. To
40
be
on the
gadget
low end,
guy.
$40 million. It's still
Yeah,
a lot of
so
money,
He
right?
could possibly be the starter returning,
Yeah.
but I don't think that happens. I think they go a different direction.
Yeah,
Honestly, I Russell Wilson. I can even see probably a Deshaun there,
yeah,
Deshaun Watson. But I don't know. I just think they go quarterback.
yeah. I think it's going to be
a few
interesting
teams that
to
need
see.
quarterbacks this year. So New Orleans, Pittsburgh, Washington.
The Panthers,
The Panthers.
yeah.
So it's going to be a lot of not a lot, but a few
But
new
there's
quarterbacks.
going to be some movement because they're not going to get a lot of answers from the draft this year. So
Yeah.
we're going to see what happens with them. I want to talk about a football game. I've been waiting all show. Got my Raiders gear on. Watch out for the that for fantasy purposes. Well, here's a slight story to go along with it. But in theory, the Raiders and Chargers game should have both teams playing all out, unless of course the Colts lose. In which case, it's been said that the Raiders and the Chargers should tie, and then they both get into the playoffs. So,
What?
yeah, because if they can do that, then they are. If that's the situation, then as long as the as long as the Chargers and the Raiders don't lose, they can both make the playoffs. So people have talked about whether they should just go in and take knees and intentionally tie.
Oh my God.
And they asked the Chargers coach. She says that's not going to happen because we respect the game too much. So don't look forward to that happening. But we'll see what happens with it. But it should be a lot of fun. There's some fun happening this weekend. So good luck to everybody if you're still in a Week 18 championship, or if you just want to play daily fantasy football, or you just love football in general. It should be cool. We got some closing questions before we sign off. Starting with, what are you gonna do with your free time now on Wednesday nights? You're gonna play. You're gonna watch basketball. Nita says go Lakers, which I'm sure Justin agrees with. They actually, the last I looked, the Lakers were doing well today, and apparently Justin says they're still going off. I would not be rooting for the Lakers. I say that much, but we will both be rooting for the Bulls.
So
yes.
we're just not gonna happen. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna just, I guess, relax, man. Just take this mental break and get ready. Because the thing about it, the season comes around really quick.
Yeah.
For us, what for people don't understand, we start pretty early.
Yeah.
We're
gonna take about a month maybe off, and then we'll be right back in it. By the time the Super Bowl's over, we're jumping right back into.
We jump back in it because we gotta do some things. As far as like changing up what we're trying to do, if we gotta make some changes to backgrounds and theme songs, and we gotta come up with ideas of what plan out maps and all that stuff. So it's less than a month and a half, 2 months.
Yeah.
And we're right back at it. So don't nothing really change, So
yeah.
But on Wednesdays, I'm just chill, just
catch your breath, throw all your trophies in championship earnings up in the air, and just sleep on them. And
I ain't gonna do much. I am gonna be watching my Bulls, but that's about it. I ain't doing too much for real.
Justin says he thinks Mustard's going to the Bills.
I can see that, but he's not a cold weather guy.
Right.
He's more of a warm weather guy, but I can see him going to the Bills. They need a running back. But the problem with Mustard, I love him, but he gets hurt a lot.
Yeah.
So
he's hurt every year.
Yeah, definitely.
Also, if the 49ers lose and the Saints and Cowboys win, then the 49ers don't make the playoffs.
If we lose and the Saints win, then we're out of the playoffs. We have, like, the Cowboys scenario has nothing to do with us. Honestly, they're already locked in wherever they're going to be at. So their game don't matter for us. It's really the Saints game. If we lose and the Saints win, then we're out. But if we lose and the Saints lose, we're in. Yeah. So basically it comes down to it.
Well, the Raiders are going to win. I don't know if you made your picks yet.
I made my picks.
You made all your picks? And you picked the Raiders to win?
No, I didn't.
Hater.
Hey, you didn't pick the 49ers to win, did you?
Actually, I did.
Oh,
I kid you not.
Okay.
I picked the 49ers to win only because of history. And I was like, okay, why? Yeah. And for real, I don't think the Rams really need to. I mean, I know. We'll see. I mean, I know they prefer to win, but for real, with this only one team getting a bye week, to me, none of it really matters because your seeding doesn't mean that much.
It don't matter. You got to play the next week.
You got to play. So if you don't get that bye week, you got to play somebody. So.
Yeah.
For me, it doesn't mean a whole bunch. I'm with you though. In my time off, I'm just gonna be relaxing, chilling, working on some stuff like you said. We got a lot of things we're trying to do. Hey, Tony, joining us, waiting for us to sign off for him to show up. We talked about your Washington football team earlier, Tony, I know you're looking forward to finding out what your new team name will be, so you can get all your new gear and
Yes.
all the foolishness that goes with the Washington football team, soon to be something else. So good to have you on the show. We got to bring you in. We didn't actually have. I just realized we didn't have any guests this entire year.
Not
And
one
so
guess.
yeah, we got to do that again next year. Um, Great fantasy season, Nita says. So until we meet again, I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, we're gonna just take about a month and a half off. Tony says he doesn't care what the name is, because they're gonna be bad no matter what. And so I threw in that last part. So like I said, we're gonna just take a little bit of time off, catch our breath, and we're not gonna leave y'all out there too long, and we'll be making little appearances here in the off season and hitting it again next year. So
Hey, look, don't forget about us because we're gonna come back bigger and better next year.
yeah,
Just you know how we do. We just work on things to get the craft better, make
yeah,
the show better for y'all, more friendly for y'all. So hey, like you said, we here, man. We just trying to make it better for y'all, and that's the reason we take our time off is to try to refresh,
retool, get it
yeah,
better.
and
Yeah.
get make it better for y'all. So
So we
we definitely gonna
appreciate
do that.
y'all.
So
It's
we
been
appreciate
great.
y'all definitely.
Love y'all, and
Peace,
see y'all soon. Peace out.
peace out.